Hello and welcome to Maths by SAS. This is my fourth lesson of D3 chapter number 8 exercise 8a, that is about trigonometric ratios of obtuse angle. In this class we will be discussing basic level question number 7. Let me read the question from the book. Question 7 says find the obtuse angle whose sine is, the first part is 0.52, the second is 0.75, third is 0.875 and 0.3456. So let's go to the discussion of the question, and we have to find the obtuse angle whose sine is given. So first of all we have to suppose, let the angle be x, let the angle equals to x degrees, then sine of x will be equal to 0.52, and as I need to find value of x, I have to shift this trigonometric ratio sine to other side, and it will appear as sine inverse of 0.52 and sine inverse of 0.52 gives me 31.3 degrees. 31.3 degrees. Okay, now read the question. Question says obtuse angle, but it's the acute angle. So required obtuse angle will be obtuse angle. In order to get the obtuse angle, what we have to do? We have to take away this answer from 180. 180 minus 31.3. 180 minus 31.3 is 148.7 degrees. 148.7 degrees. I hope you are clear about this question, and let's move to the second part. And in the second part, again we are supposing that angle is x, then sine of x will be equal to 0.75 and x equals to sine inverse of 0.75, sine inverse of 0.75, and this gives me 48.59. X equals to 48.59 degrees, and as we have to 48.59, so it can be taken as approximately 48.6 degrees, and obtuse angle will be equal to, required obtuse angle will be equal to 180 minus 48.6, 180 minus 48.6, and this gives me 131.4 degrees. Moving to the next part, given value is 0.875, sine of x is equal to 0.875 and x equals to sine inverse of 0.875, sine inverse of 0.875, and this gives me 61.04 degrees, or 61.0, to three significant figures. And for the obtuse angle, I have to take away this answer from 180 degrees. Obtuse angle will be equal to 180 minus 61. 180 minus 61 will be equal to 119 degrees. 119 degrees. And for the last part, sine of x really easy questions, 0.3456 and x equals to sine inverse 0.3456, sine inverse 0.3456, and this is again 20.2 degrees, and required obtuse angle will be obtuse angle (180 minus 20.2), because for the obtuse angle the terminal arm will be in the second quadrant, and we have to take away the value of obtuse acute angle from 180 to get answer in the second quadrant or obtuse angle, and this is 159.8 degrees. I hope you are clear about this. And now moving to the next question that says that find an acute angle whose cosine is, the first part is 0.67, second is 0.756, and the third is 0.5, and the fourth is 0.985. Okay, now as the question says whose cosine is, so we'll be supposing cos of x equals to 0.67 and x equals to 0.67 cos inverse 0.67, and now I have to press the shift key with cos and I have to write down the value 0.67, and this gives me 47.9 degrees, 47.9 degrees, as the requirement is the acute angle. So we'll be leaving the answer till this stage. Moving to the next part, whose cosine cos of x equals to 0.756, x equals to cos inverse of 0.756, cos inverse 0.756, 40.88, so it will be approximately 40.9 degrees. 0.88 will become 0.9, so this will be the required answer. Moving to the next part, that cos of x will be equal to 0.5 and x equals to cos inverse 0.5, inverse cos 0.5, and this gives me 60 degrees. Okay, and the last part is cos of x equals to 0.985, 0.985, and x equals to cos inverse of 0.985, cos inverse of 0.985, and this gives me, let me recheck it, cos inverse of 0.985, and let me close the bracket, and this is 9.936, and that can be approximately 9.94 degrees. I hope you are clear about this question, and let's move to question number 9 first, and this was question number 8. Let me mark the question number here. Yes, it's written at the top, question number 8, and then question number 9 says that given that x lies between 0 and 180 degrees, find the possible values of x for the following cases. The first situation is that sine of x equals to 0.753. The second part is sine of x equals to 0.952, and sine of x, third part is sine of x equals to 0.4714, and the fourth part, D part, is cos of x equals to minus 0.238, and E part is cos of x equals to minus 0.783, and F is cos of x equals to 0.524. Okay, now let's discuss the question and first try to understand the question. That question says that x lies between 0 and 180 degrees. It's important to understand this symbol and notation. X lies between 0 and 180 degree means that either the terminal arm can be in the first quadrant or can be in the second quadrant. We know that the trigonometric ratio sine can have two values in the range 0 and 180 degree for one acute and one obtuse angle, and for the trigonometric ratio cosine, when it is negative, we will have only one value, because the negative sign is telling us that the terminal arm is in the second quadrant. So let's solve the question and discuss each situation one by one. In order to get value of x, what we have to do, we have to shift this sign to other side, and this is sine inverse 0.753, sine inverse 753, and this gives me 48.85, 753. Okay, 48.85, and that can be approximately taken as 48.9 degrees. Now, as the range values is between 0 and 180, so x will be equal to either 48.9 degrees or what we can do is 180 minus 48.9, 180 minus 48.9, and this is 131.1 degrees. 0.1 degrees. Okay, I hope you are clear about this part. Let me block this answer and moving to the second part, that is sine of x equals to 0.952. X equals to sine inverse of 0.952, and I have to take the inverse sine of 0.952, and this gives me 72.17, which is approximately equal to 72.2 degrees. And now x can take the value either 72.2 or 180 minus 72.2. Okay, as 180 minus 72.2, and this gives me 107.8. Okay, and let's move to the third part, and that is sine of x equals to 0.4714. X equals to sine inverse of 0.4714. And now what I have to do, I have to take the inverse sine inverse of 0.4714, and this is equal to x equals to 28.12, which will be equal to 28.1. So x can take the value either 28.1 or 180 minus 28.1, 180 minus 28.1, and this is 151.9 and degrees, as these are the angles, so we have to put the degrees. Okay, moving to the next part, and cos of x equals to minus 0.238. This minus sign is special. Okay, let's see that if I'm taking the value of inverse cos with positive sign 0.238, that will be giving me acute angle. But as the question is given with the negative sign, so let's perform the calculation with minus 0.238, cos inverse of minus 0.238. This is minus. Okay, minus sign is indicating that the terminal arm of the angle is in the second quadrant and it's the obtuse angle, so we have to take the obtuse value, that is 103.76, which is approximately 103, as we have to take nearest to 3 significant figures, so this will become 104 degrees approximately. Due to this negative sign, we are getting this obtuse angle for the cosine function. Moving to the next part, that cos of x equals to minus 0.783. Here again, this point and this minus sign is important, that x equals to cos inverse of minus 0.783, cos inverse of minus 0.783, cos inverse of 0.783, and this gives me 141.5 degrees. You can see, children, that the trigonometric ratio sine is having two values, one acute and one obtuse, in the range 0 to 180 degrees, but trigonometric ratio cosine is having only one value in this range. And moving to the last part, that is cos of x equals to 0.524. X equals to cos inverse of 0.524, and inverse cos of 0.524, this is 58.3 degrees. As the trigonometric ratio cosine is positive, so it will have only one value, which is in the first quadrant. Let's move to question number 13, and let me read the question from the book. Question 13 says, given that sine x degrees equals to sine 27 degrees and x lies between 0 and 180 degrees, write down the possible values of x. Now look students, here we are given with the trigonometric ratio of sine, and the range value is that x lies between 0 and 180 degree, means that either x can be acute or x can be obtuse, because this is the range for 0 and 180 degrees. Now let's see what are the possible values and how we can get that. As this is given, sine of x degrees equals to sine 27 degrees. Now I can remove this trigonometric ratio sine with sine by taking sine inverse on the other side, and I will have, now as the sine goes with sine, so I will have x equals to 27 degrees, which is the acute angle and which is one of the possible value of x, and other value equals to, other value will be equal to 180 minus 27 degrees, and 180 minus 27 is 153 degrees. So the possible values of x are, so possible values of x are 27 degrees or 153 degrees. I hope really easy and interesting lesson, and important as well according to your O-level examination. Please watch my lessons, like, share and subscribe the channel, and press bell icon to get the notification of every lesson in time. Thank you very much.